Hey everyone, Kanaya this side. I hope you are doing awesome. So in today's video, we'll explore the comparable and comparator in Java. Okay, so instead of just looking at the syntax, let's understand them with a story. Okay, suppose you walk into a tech event and if someone asks you there like for your introduction, then what would be your response? There would be one standard response. You'll say hi if I would be that person. So hi, I'm Kanaya, a software engineer. Cool. But so this you could relate with the this is your comparable, where you have one standard response, or I would say the standard order, default ordering. But suppose you are just walking with your friend, and now your friend will introduce you based on the different context. So suppose the very first you just walk into the your tech event, then he will say, hey, this is Kanaya, a Java expert. When you are just walking into the, I would say, the cooking class, then he would say, hey, this is Kanaya, he makes amazing pasta. Although I don't know how to cook, but and suppose if you are going to the sports club, hey, this is Kanaya, he is our best chess player. Oh, that could be. But yeah, so as you are understanding, on the different context we are just changing, we are adding the different introductions based on the context. So that is your comparator. So like these two things we use. So let me walk you through with the examples as well. So now we'll see the live examples with the help of code, and then, so after that we'll see when to use which. Okay, so let's start with the video. Let me quickly share my screen and see you there. Hey, what's up? I hope my screen is visible. Cool. So okay, cool, we can skip this. Okay, so we'll write our code here in the Sublime, and then we'll move to the your VS Code, because if we'll start writing our code there, so it will just give us the suggestions or the boilerplate or the intelligence, so we won't be able to recall that, or the what was the syntax actually. Okay, so we'll write here, but although I have prepared some boilerplate code, so we can use that as of now. So suppose we have one class, we can call that as a student, and we have this basic stuff for our class. Cool. Now what we want, like as I was mentioning like the default order and the default behavior is your comparable. So for what you can do, you can just say implements comparable, and this will take your student. It's the default behavior. Okay, so for the comparable of the student could be like the default behavior is like you wanna sort based on the IDs. Okay, so for that what you can do, you can simply write here override and then public, and it has one method called your compare to, and which take another student, and we can call it as other, and we can just simply write return this dot id minus other dot id, or what we generally do, a minus b, a dot id minus b dot id. So this works on the three conditions, like whenever your a is smaller than b. So it basically works on the three possible values, like the negative and the 0 and the positive. So when your a is lesser than b, then it's a negative response. When your a is greater than b, then it's the positive. When your a is equal to b, then it's neutral, 0. Okay, so it worked on these three parameters, or I would say the possible values. Okay, cool. But there is one catch, like we are comparing these IDs, but these IDs could be large. So for the safer side, what we can do, we can simply use integer dot, we have one compare, I believe, yeah, and we have one this compare method, and we can simply write, we can pass two parameters, this dot id comma other dot id. Cool. So let me quickly do one more thing here. Okay, so suppose I hope my screen is visible, the VS Code screen. Okay, so let me quickly take this code. We don't need WhatsApp. Let me take this student code here. We can paste here. And suppose I want to create, see, that's why I was not writing code here. But this time we'll not go with this. I'll take student, I'll call them as students is equal to, I'll go with the arrays dot as list. Yes, I want to go with the as list. Oh no, damn. Okay, let's take this here. So we have to import using java.util.star. Not using we use in the C#. Yeah. Okay, so we have these students. So when we do like collections dot sort students, so let's see what it does. We wanna print that. Cool, we can print that as well. So I can simply say java c main.java, compiled successfully, and your java main. So as you can see, we have id Bob, Charlie, Alice. It is just sorting based on the id because we have defined id here. So this is the default. When you want the like filtering or anything on the standard on the class based, then you can simply say the comparable you have to use. But when you wanna go with the different context, so then you can go with the comparator. So how you can do that? So suppose we have this comparator, and here we can just define the student, and suppose we wanna go with the name, and what we can simply do here, we can say comparator. We can go with the name, and instead of just okay, let's go with the name, and I'll show you one thing here. So this is after Java 8, like this is the latest way to like although this calls your lambda, and this is just comparing based on the student. Cool. So here we are using comparator now. This is based on the conditions. So when I am writing here by name, I have passed this filter as well. So what do you think? What would be the output? Now will this program sort our students based on the ID or name, or on the both of them? Because here we have the default behavior of the ID, but explicitly we have mentioned that we want the sorting based on the name, and in the collections.sort we have passed name. So what do you think? What will happen? Just pause the video and drop a comment. What do you think? What would be the output based on which? I would say it would be sorted based on the name. Let's check. Cool. As you can see here, it has sorted the students. The students list has been sorted based on the name, based on their names. Because when we are parsing the explicitly comparator, that would always have the higher priority. But when we are going with the default one, it's the default behavior. But when we define the explicitly, then explicitly will have the higher priority. So let's create one more comparator here. I wanna create a comparator. So let's create one more comparator now. Comparator, and now we'll create student by ID and name, and cool. Here we can just say, and instead of just passing the name, I would say by ID and name. So now let's see what it gives us. It is based on the ID and then names. So we have ID 1, then correspond to their names. So this is the way you can create. But when to use which? See, when you just want the default behavior, just go with the comparable. It is on the class level. You don't have to do anything. Where you can use it's when you have the transaction class, suppose, and you want the default order is based on the timestamp, all the transactions must be sorted. So inside that transaction class you can just define this. Cool. And when you can go with the comparator, so suppose you want the product listing based on the ratings and rating, or let's say the price, then but when you can use the comparator when you want to go with the, suppose you have a product class and inside that you have rating, you have price. Based on those filters you can just define the your multiple comparators. But there's one more thing, do we really use comparable and comparators when we make a call from the UI? Suppose your e-commerce applications like Amazon, Flipkart. So when you call from the UI, you apply any filter for the lowest price or highest price and all, any filter. So how those works? भाई ये कुत्ते क्यों भौंक रहे हैं इतना? जब भी मैं वीडियो बनाने लगता हूँ ना, या तो कुत्ते भौंकने शुरू कर देते हैं या मेरे एसी की टिप टिप गिरनी शुरू हो जाती है. कुछ तो होता रहता है. मैं पानी पी लेता हूँ भाई इतना. So suppose when you make a call from the UI and you wanna apply any dedicated or specific filter sort by your price, the highest first or the lowest first, or low to high range. So does they really use on the backend your comparator or comparable? I would say no. These all filtering would be done on the DB level because it's on the huge data set. So it's probably done by your search engine, Elasticsearch and all those, because DB has indexes and all the stuff which makes it more powerful and efficient for this filtering. But your comparator and comparable is done when you have a small data or the subset of the actual data, like your in memory for the Redis cache levels. On those you use these your comparator and comparable. फिर से भाई मैं परेशान हो गया हूँ कुत्ते से. भाई रात दिन कभी नहीं छोड़ते भाई, हमेशा भौंकते ही रहते हैं, पता नहीं क्या चाहिए इन्हें. So there you can go with the comparable and comparator. It's the easy way to remember when you are giving the default introduction. So but how to remember this stuff, when you have to go with what. So when you want the default behavior or the default order, you want to give the default response your introduction, then go with the comparable because it's on the class level. But when you wanna based on the different scenario or context, you want to change your introduction, then you can definitely go with the comparator. Cool, makes sense. I hope this was a small video. This was a small video just for the comparator and comparable. So I hope you found this video helpful or useful. If so, then don't forget to like, subscribe or share. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, keep learning, keep growing. Bye bye.